Next, for how the top stories are being talked about online and on social media, Yana Lee is here for Media Watch. Hello. And we're going to start with one of our top stories here as well, Algeria and the ongoing protests there.
Yes, Charlie. Despite Bouteflika handing in his resignation Tuesday evening, it looks very much like the people aren't ready to stand down. Take a look at these two tweets. It's the 7th straight Friday of protests, says this Twitter user as she gets ready to hit the streets earlier today. This is a striking image of traffic jams in and around the capital, Algiers, today. Algerians are taking to the streets again with various visions for political transition, but there's one overarching theme today in today's protest. It's the removal of Bouteflika loyalists, and it's summarized in this poster, 3B plus GS out. 3B, of course, referring to the Senate leader Abdel Akhtar Ben Salah, the Constitutional Council head Tayeb Belaiz, and Prime Minister Noureddin Bedoui. GS referring to the head of the army, Gaid Salah. It's a sentiment that's also echoed by El Watan's cartoonist. Here you see it's titled It's Far From Over. And you see the people successfully pulling down Bouteflika from power. But next on this wheel of unfortune, I guess, is Ben Salah coming over, and you see that protests are continuing. And it has to be said, though, Charlie, they've been remarkably peaceful, very child-friendly. As you can see, there's a little toddler out in the streets today. Some people brought books, says this journalist, and there's a huge pot of couscous out. You have to feed the protesters, make sure everyone's hydrated. But, of course, there was one incident targeting women's rights activists. A UK-based Algerian man posted a video of himself a few days ago threatening activists with acid attacks at Friday's rallies. He has apparently apologized since due to the online backlash. Our colleagues from the France 24 Observer's desk have actually spoken to one activist who has received threats since the video was circulated. You can read more about it on our website. But a bit more positive news. Rosa Moussaoui, she's a journalist for the French communist newspaper L'Humanité. She's on the ground and she says the fight for equality in Algeria isn't a Western import. It's very much a part of Algeria's own history and struggle. She's been documenting women participating in the marches from the beginning, and a slogan she's been hearing is "No democracy without women's rights." Here we go.
There we go. And speaking of women's rights, your second story you've brought us, Saudi Arabia also coming under fire for arresting activists.
Indeed, the hashtag Stand With Saudi Heroes is unfortunately somewhat back online. A small comeback today online. A London-based Saudi rights group says that at least 9 people, including a pregnant woman and 2 US citizens, have been arrested. The 9 weren't known to be frontline activists per se, but they were supporters of a different group of female activists who were previously arrested for campaigning against Saudi Arabia's male guardianship system. Here we have a Twitter user quite literally sounding the alarm, saying, Ayman Al-Dries, translator activist and the love of my life, was arrested today, along with other activists and intellectuals. Another user saying, detaining more activists is just atrocious.
And finally, we're going to go to the United States, where a Fox News journalist is catching a bit of heat for his choice of clothing.
Indeed, Charlie. Lawrence Jones III is a contributor for Fox News. He was reporting from the US-Mexico border wearing this bulletproof vest, and it's attracted a lot of criticism from journalists, fellow journalists. Here we have one example. Dude, why are you wearing a bulletproof vest? You are not in a war zone. Here I am reporting from the border recently without a vest, but with a fabulous coat of hairspray. Slightly more serious tone coming from a CBS reporter who says she's done a lot of stories from the border. She grew up near the border. She's never worn a bulletproof vest. Safety is key for any journalist, but so is true perspective. And she's posted pictures of herself out on the field without, of course, said bulletproof
Is it a bulletproof vest, though? Because it looks small.
That is the question everyone's been asking on Twitter, because even though Jones has actually defended himself, saying he was told to put the vest on by CBP officials, and because he says, quote, there are armed illegals roaming around the border, apparently, a lot of people are just wondering, they're questioning the size and thus the utility.
I think I'd wear a bigger one.
Of the vest in itself, equating it to a child's toy, I guess. He's in a ball bath.
Well, Yana, thanks so much for bringing us those stories.
I have
Yana
many
Lee with Media Watch.